Welcome to this season preview interview with head wrestling coach Jim Gruenwald. Coach, your team comes off a very successful year last year. You had a very good dual record. You sent two guys to nationals who are All-Americans. Kind of give us a quick recap of what your team was able to do last year, that you were able to see them do, and then what you expect to build off of from that success into this year.
Yeah, I mean, last year we asked God to do something special with our wrestling program, and He provided wonderfully for us. We ended up having an 11-1 season, something we haven't had since 1968-69. We haven't had a winning record since 1998-99 season. And so we're coming off of a nice streak. And then on top of all that, we had 3 individual conference champions and 2 All-Americans. And again, things that hadn't been done in the program were seen again last year. So it was a nice opportunity. We felt like we turned the corner is what it comes down to.
So what's that do for some of the team goals you set this year, and even some of the goals you set for some of your individuals now that you've got a couple of All-Americans?
Well, as far as the team goal, I mean, I've always had it kind of out there since I got here. Day one, we would need to be a top 10 team in the country and have a national champ. We haven't had that yet. One of the things, though, that I typically do a lot of times is sometimes you just got to reset your goals because they're not good enough. And so I said, let's get crazy. I think Wartburg isn't the powerhouse. I mean, they're still a powerhouse, but I mean, there's a little question mark on whether that they can do as well as they've done. So I said, let's run for a national title this year. Why not? Why not Wheaton? I mean, there's some good teams out there. Whitewater's a great team, but they just lost their head coach. Messiah's a great team out there. Brian Brunk's doing a wonderful job out there. So Messiah, why not Wheaton? So I've just reset the goals for this year. And as far as individuals, I mean, we're returning 3 All-Americans. You got Dan Olson, you got Mark Savinock, and you got Steven Aiello. I think each are capable of being All-American again this year. And truth be told, that a couple of them could make a run at a national title.
You field the biggest team you've ever had. What's that do for your ability to kind of push your program forward?
Well, I mean, it gives us depth. And one of the things you want to create, and again, you look at the best wrestling programs in D3, Wartburg, Augsburg, Whitewater, Messiah, they've got depth at every weight. And what that does is it pushes the guys who are on top to get better. And if they don't, well, then that new guy coming in or that guy that's been nipping at his heels has the opportunity to earn the spot. And so, again, having a larger roster, gives us a little bit more depth. I know that if, the number one guy isn't quite on his game or maybe gets hurt for whatever reason, I've got somebody who can come in and back him up, and I'm confident in that individual to get the job done.
Obviously, we know the impact guys are your 3 All-Americans, and those 3 are very talented, but who are some of the other guys you expect to lean on this year, and who are some of the guys you expect to kind of take that step forward and be a headliner for your guys?
You know what, we've got a little bit of a gap at 97 and 74 because we graduated Mitch Stee, we graduated Matt McCrary. Both of them did a fantastic job for us last year. Matt ended up with 100 wins as a college wrestler. Doesn't happen all that often, but to see those gaps fill. I say we have a gap, but we do and we don't, in the sense that we had 2 guys in the team, Frank Aiello and also Logan Walkup, who were nipping at Matt's heels all last year. They've been battling away to determine who's going to be that number 1 guy, and we'll find out after a couple of competitions who's going to be starting there, as well as Mikey Swider coming in, with that tremendous season that he had his senior year in high school, being an Illinois state runner-up and then being a 2-time national place winner out at Fargo, North Dakota. He still hasn't had really an opportunity to demonstrate how good of a college wrestler he could be, but I expect some great things out of him. I also think Carlos Fuentes, he's a freshman who's got some significant credentials as well. He took 3rd place in the state of Illinois, as well as being a 3-time place winner out at Fargo, once as high as 2nd. So, again, could be an impact wrestler on the team. Again, that was high school. This is college. We'll see what happens. And then the freshman class, in general, comes in with some significant credentials. I mean, there's not a weak one in there.
Yeah, you bring in a large freshman class. Kind of take us through some of your incoming guys.
Well, first of all, we ended up having like 5 or 6 different states represented, so we've got another neat recruiting class in the sense that we're not just getting Illinois kids, although I think Illinois wrestlers are studs. But you got a guy like Owen Feenstra coming out of Arizona. He's a state place winner. You look at Tad Haugen coming out of Virginia, living not 20 minutes away from the Aiellos, 2-time state place winner. So those are 2 names right there where you've got some quality young men coming into the program, and that's just two of the 9 freshmen that are coming in that have decent. Every single one of them is anywhere from a state place winner to a state qualifier to a multiple state place winner.
Yeah, obviously with your program expanding, you've kind of outgrown your room. You've been able to move over to some new facilities. For those people who aren't aware, kind of give us an update on where your facilities are with your program.
Yeah, huge blessing. I mean, the college has done such a great job of providing for the wrestling program, and as we outgrew the room, because when I first got here, we had 7 guys in the team. I mean, the room was, it was one mat, so it was big enough to deal with those 7 guys. It was sufficient. But as God's blessed the team and it's grown, and all of a sudden, we had some serious growing pains. I mean, guys were getting hurt in the room. College realized that there was an issue there. They saw what was the direction of the program. They saw the trajectory of it. It was good, and they stepped up and provided us with a new facility, a place on campus that gives us nearly 3 times the wrestling space, so it's a much safer environment to train. I mean, wrestling's already dangerous in and of itself just because it's a combat sport, but now we don't have to worry about a lot of those in-room issues that we have in the past because, again, we've got a place that we can train that's nearly 3, and we're just in phase 1 of the program. It'd be nice once we hit phase 2, but for right now, it's a home run for our program.